Yo guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to showcase what has become my favorite legendary weapon in Borderlands 4, the Convergence shotgun. Specifically on Harlow, this gun slaps. It is a Ripper shotgun with a legendary perk, Asymptotic, which on hit spawns converging projectiles on the enemy. This can also roll with Jacob's licensed accessories, causing ricochets on critical hits, and the shotgun can roll any element, fire, cryo, radiation, and shock, with radiation specifically on Harlow being such great synergy. This gun is going to drop from Bramblesong in the Bitter Vein Abandoned Auger Mine in Terminus Range within the Stoneblood Forest. I am currently maining this gun on both of my Harlow builds. For neutron capture, it really melts bosses and plays well in mobbing situations. Be sure to check out my latest Harlow build video for that setup. Nothing really changes besides putting on the Convergence weapon. But on the Halo Harlow build, I've completely dropped using the Borderly SMG for this setup. And what we'll go over in this video is going to be some things that I think some people might be missing out on inside of her skill tree that are going to be very, very important. And then just the interaction of this shotgun with this build, being that it has 100% crit chance with this build, and the way the ricochets happen, and then all the hits happening from the shotgun because of asymptotic, which on hit spawns the converging projectiles on the enemy. So we will do a little bit of testing with that on the test dummies. Now, let's go over the things in the build that I think are very, very important. There's a lot of flexibility with this build, but there's some things that you really want to make sure you have. One of them is going to be confirmative reality. Whenever Harlow shoots an entangled enemy, she and our allies restore a portion of action skill cooldown. This is very, very good for when you get in those sections of the game in between mobbing where your action skill does come down because you're no longer in combat and proccing the other things we'll talk about. So with this, you can then enter a new mobbing fight, probably shoot 3 or 4 times, maybe 2 different enemies, and your action skill cooldown will go from 20 seconds back up just like that. So to me, this is a must pick. Our other must pick here is going to be Flash Freeze. This is going to make your cryo damage freeze an enemy. The reason that this is important, because this will proc absolute 0, which is going to freeze your action skill duration for 4 seconds. So this mixed with that is going to make you pretty much in perma action skill as long as you're active in combat. And another thing here is going to be control group, and we are getting this from our class mod. This is going to be a kill skill. This is also going to refund our action skill duration and then add to the skill cooldown when we're trying to get our action skill back. So this is basically the way to perma action skill with Harlow. Another important thing is going to be 1 point excited state. You need to have this. This is going to make you have 100% crit chance the entire time you are in your Halo action skill form. That's all you need is 1 point. So you don't need a crit knife with this build. Just simply 1 point in here, play the game, 100% crit chance. So I just want to go over some Harlow things there. We are talking about Convergence, but Harlow is mainly the Vault Hunter you're going to want to be using this on. Now, as far as your Convergence, you're looking for Jacobs. Like I said at the start of the video, they all come with Ripper, and it's asymptotic, which is going to make the converging projectiles on the enemy. And I think that's part of the reason this is so good, between the ricochets and then the amount of hits you're getting per shot with the converging projectiles. When you are using Harlow, I would suggest trying to get a radiation one or a chill cryo setup for her. I did use a pyro at first because it's the only one I had when I got Jacobs. Also works really well. And I also farmed out a shock one here, but it does have COV licensed mag on it. Don't really like the COV licensed mag on this weapon. Still usable, but for me, comfortability, I just wasn't really into it. So let's check out what's happening here on our test dummies. We're going to cast our action skill, and we'll simply shoot this one dummy. And as you can see, the ricocheting projectiles and the ricocheting from Harlow's skill tree, and then the converging projectiles as well, is just absolutely insane. Then we start adding in all the fire rate we're getting from our action skill and reprocking that over and over. And insane crits, 100% crit chance, radiation damage, cryo damage, ricochets, it's everywhere. Now I do want to let my action skill run down here so I can show you what I'm talking about getting it back. And you can see we're at about 20-ish seconds right now, and it's not going to take long for it to come back. And we got it back, and it works like that. And that's why I was saying that this is going to be so important, the confirmative reality. Because we are not even proccing the kill skill cooldown here. We are getting that strictly from this because it is proccing off of how many shots we are doing. And also, I believe it's proccing off the ricochets. And quickly, I'll just go over the gear setup that I run. I run an Enrage speed stim with order for the 2 charges. Other than that, I would suggest Enrage with fire rate. I do have one, actually just got to drop finally. I do run the crit knife, even though it's not important to run the crit knife. We have a 100% crit chance anyway. I'm doing this for the damage and payload for the 15% increased damage, but you don't even need that anyway. For your class mod, the Savant, and like I said, try to get one with as many points as you can in control group. And then we are using the Super Soldier. This is going to be for the overshield, and when we have the overshield, our energy shield is also going to be full. This is going to be giving us fire rate plus movement speed. I love the movement speed. Then we also have Vagabond for more movement speed when our shield is full, and then Siphon for the overshield when we're shooting. So this is just great synergy here. I also happen to have 20% move speed on my class summon as well, so my Harlow is just very fast. That's why I went with the speed on the stim too, just for some funny. And then for your enhancement, for your convergence, I go with Jacobs for the bounce pass, for the extra ricochet here, and then Sequencer for the consecutive critical hits, give you a stacking bonus damage, and we are getting a ton of critical hits here. And I do have probably a god roll, gun damage, and fire rate. And for our firmware, we're using Deadeye for the critical hit damage stack, and then we're going with Trick Shot for the reload speed and more gun critical hit damage. And that covers everything for the legendary weapon, the Convergence. I tried not to make it all about Harlow, but it's such a fantastic gun for both of her top builds. It was really hard not to. Any questions or suggestions about the builds or Convergence, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe is much appreciated. Thanks, guys. Peace.